Hi, so in this video I want to show how you hook up an MCP server to the web-based version of Claude. So this is brand new. It's been here for about a week, the ability to do this. And it used to be that you had to download the desktop version of Claude to your hard drive, either on Windows or on Mac, and run that desktop version of Claude in order to load up an MCP server. So that was really the first application that integrated MCP servers in kind of a big way. And when that first started, it was really difficult to specify how the MCP servers would run. You had to actually edit a text file, and the process was very cumbersome, and it still is cumbersome, although it's improving as we speak. But as of a week ago, you can also load in these MCPs into the web-based version of Claude if you're running the Plus version, or you have to be on the subscription that's like $20 a month. So this is the first place that they've kind of released the MCP ability for Anthropic. Also, too, a similar thing has happened with ChatGPT. You can load in MCP servers if you're on a particular plan for that one, and that one I don't have access to because it's really only the $200 plan a month where you can load in those servers so far. But I'm pretty sure this is coming to everyone, and as it becomes more popular, they'll open this up kind of more generally as well too. But so today what I want to show you is just loading up one of our servers that we've looked at and a couple of tools into Claude and what that looks like. So Claude and Anthropic call this feature integrations. And there's a few other examples of tools and ways you can kind of load them up. You can kind of see those over here. These are all examples from tools, but the MCP servers specifically are called integrations. I think ChatGPT calls it connectors, so everybody's going to call it something different maybe in the beginning. But so you click on this little tools icon right here, and if you scroll down, you see a little thing called Add Integrations. And so I'm going to click on that, and that takes you over to a place where you can add in MCP servers. Now, I already have two loaded in up there that I've already written and been using for a while. This one helps you edit a Dolt database, and this one gets financial data from the SEC. But the one that I want to show you is the Greet one, very similar to the one we've been working on in Firebase Studio. Now, this one is hosted remotely, so Claude on the web, this web-based version of Claude is able to find that one. It's not running locally, it's running at a known URL address on the web, and so that's called a remote MCP server. The kinds of MCP server we were running in Firebase Studio previously was called a local MCP server because it only existed within that environment where we were testing it out. But these web-based versions of these MCPs are becoming more popular, and as people develop more of these tools, the LLMs will all sort of get access to them. And the thing that makes them really great, the remote MCPs, is that they're just available to everyone. The local MCPs are only available on the machines that you're running them on. So this is a really much more general approach. So these are called remote MCP servers we're loading in today, but you can actually take your local MCP and turn it into a remote one without so much trouble, and I'll show that in a later video actually. So I come down here and I say add integration, and now I need to know the address where the MCP server is. And so I'm going to go and get this, and I have a few servers running already at a web-based hosting place, and these are called remote MCP servers. Sometimes the terminology for it is SSE. That's just the type of protocol that the remote servers use. Remember, the local servers use a protocol called STDIO, Standard I/O. But these remote ones have the protocol SSE. So I'm just going to grab the URL and copy it from this Greet one. There's 4 of them that I have hosted at that address so far. So I grab that and I come back over here to Claude. And in there where it says integration URL, I just paste in that URL. It usually ends in SSE, although I think it might be possible to run them even without it as long as it's set up the right way. But most of the ones that are the web-based ones, at least for loading into web-based Claude, end in SSE. And the integration name can be really anything. You can just call it Greet Server if you want. And then it asks you if you trust this integration. So it's actually a pretty big deal. If you're loading an MCP server off the web, this is something that's going to be giving data back to your LLM. And so you want to make sure that it's not doing something irresponsible. So a lot of times these MCP servers, the remote ones, will have a login to them that you have to log into to use. But okay, I'm just going to say add. And it loads it up and it puts it up here, and you can tell it's a custom integration up here. So it's a custom MCP. And if we look over here, it says it doesn't require any authentication, so you don't have to log into it. But what it does have over here, which all of these integrations have, is something where you can click and see which tools it provides. And so if we click there, and this looks pretty familiar. Here's the add numbers tool, the Greek tool, Greek warmly, and then get the sample markdown. And a setting that's over here that's typical for LLMs that call tools is, do you want the LLM to ask permission before it calls a tool? Right now, it's left with asking permission before it uses it. So I'm going to click some of these off. We'll leave like one of them on, but let's click some of these off. We'll allow it to do these up here unsupervised. And then let's leave this one as asking permission, just so you kind of see what this one looks like. And you can toggle the tool on and off over here so as well. So let's say done. And so now I think it's loaded everything up. Let's go and try it out. So if you come back over here, can you describe your tools with a list and their descriptions? And we're probably going to get something very similar to what we got in the Chainlet app, where we sort of wrote our own versions of this. But yeah, this is printing out the different tools and also a description of what they do. It's also printing out more than just the one that we just loaded in. We just loaded this one in, but also previously I had loaded this one in, and also this financial data one as well. And it also has a few other ones that it's kind of there. Right now it can read my email, and I hooked it up to my Google Drive as well too. So, all right, so that's pretty interesting. Let's actually have it call some of these. So can you add 5 and 3, 5.6, 4 and 5.6, something like that, whatever. So here, let's see what it looks like when it calls the tool. Okay, it's saying add numbers, and it's showing all the details there. I like that. And then it just shuts it back up when it's finally added in, so, or it's finished. So that's kind of a slick implementation. It shows what's going on while it's doing it, and then when it's done calling it, it just gives you the answer. Now let's see how it does with getting the sample markdown. So can you get some sample markdown? Oh, okay, so remember on that one, we didn't actually allow it to do it unsupervised, so it's going to ask, and it allows you to say if you want to always, you want it always to ask, or you want it to just ask once, or do you want to decline everything? So I'm going to say allow always. And so again, it opens up the little window where it's getting it, and then it's actually fetched it, and it's getting just this little markdown table. Actually, this tool is called get sample markdown table. So it's not really a tech. Yeah, this one's called just a table. So it doesn't really have other markdown in it. So it has rendered it and grabbed it. And we can kind of see that here's the response. That's what the response looks like. Text-based response looks like that. And then it renders it out in this nice format down here. So at any rate, let's take a look at some of these other MCPs that we've loaded in. For the database one, this one I think I've shown in some other videos. You can use this one to read and understand and analyze a Dolt database. So I happen to know a Dolt database I can use. So can you describe the financial database that's just under my username? It's called Business Management Benchmarks is the name of the database, and the branch of the database that I want it to look like is main. So let's see if I can describe that. So here it's listing the tables. It's got all the table names. Now it's describing the tables, which I think is getting a schema for the tables. It tells you what fields are in the tables and also what data type they have. So there must have been a few tables. It hasn't really told me what tables there were, and it's still doing its work. So it can call multiple tools. Here it must not have list views turned on as allowed. So, and it's also checking the views as well. It's checking the tables, it's checking the views, and now it's going to do a little summary for me. So that's the master table. This is the financial statements data. This is the metrics, just like we've kind of talked about before. And these are the views. Views in a database are kind of like reports. It's a query that you can run that kind of summarizes the data in a particular way. So here, there's actually 28 of them in this set. So let's see if I can give the exact names. Can you give me the exact names of the views? All right, so let's see if it can do that. Well, it should already have them, so I don't know why it has to go and get them again, but okay, sure. Right, so there's the views. So for every year, there's a view. Let's just see what, this view right here does. So I'm going to copy that and say, can you run the view called, and let me paste that in. Oh, okay. So I kind of zoomed accidentally there. So yeah, it knows how to execute the view. This is exactly how you do it. You have to treat the view just like it's a table. It's kind of like a virtual table. And it's not really giving me all of it's summarizing it. So let's see, can you give the actual output of the view, not a summary, but it is doing a summary of it. Okay, so I don't know why it has to go back and get it again. It's already had this a minute ago, right? Okay. But here's the raw output of it. Okay, let's see how it gives it to me. Did it run out of steam? What happened to it? Here's the raw output showing all columns and 50 rows. And did it run out of, what happened? Did it run out of gas? Okay, maybe we got to retry it. Let's retry it. Okay, it did that already. Now it's doing it again. And okay, here's the column headers. Okay, it's a little slow for something. Maybe it's really busy at this time of night. Or maybe I'm not paying enough, so I'm not on a plan that it seems like it's just summarizing it again. Right, so let me see. I'm going to try one more time. Can you give it to me in a markdown table, not summarized? Okay, I don't know why it's having trouble. It usually does this right away without hesitation. Okay, so it's enough data, I guess, that it thinks it needs to put it in this little artifact over on the right. That's fine by me. Can you just get the data to me already? Okay, so there it goes. And that is going to have like 50 rows, I think. And it seems like it's rendering it very, very slowly for some reason. But you can see that it's pulling the data kind of out of the database. So it is getting it. And so it's really interesting if you work with the LLM that has an artifact ability like this one does, you can have it work with your tool, but also work together on an artifact together with your tool as well too. So your tool can kind of help the LLM work with some of the data to create an artifact. So for example, you could have your tool helping the LLM write a web app, HTML page over here, or here it's constructing a markdown table over here in the artifact window. So there's a lot of possibilities. So I think this integration of MCPs and Claude is really, really very impressive. It's got a lot of potential, I think.